My 32 female, Girl Scout leader 32 female, stole all of our cookie money. I am so furious, Reddit. I need some advice before I do something rash. I am a co-leader for a Girl Scout troop of first graders. I don't have a daughter or family member in the troop, but I was in Girl Scouts when I was a girl, and I thought it would be a great way to volunteer and give back. When an old Girl Scout member that used to be in my troop, Candy, posted about starting up the troop on Facebook, I jumped on board. It's our very first year as a troop, and we only have 5 girls. Despite our small number, and starting up halfway through the season, we still managed to raise $3,000 in cookie money. About a quarter of that goes to our troop to do fun activities with the girls. I myself raised about $800 of that. Everything was going great, and I was super excited to have a few fun end-of-the-season events with the girls with the money that we raised. That is until I received a letter from the Girl Scout office that they tried to withdraw the money from our account. As leaders, we had to start a non-profit bank account under our troop number, and they were unsuccessful. If they didn't receive the money within the next 5 business days, we would be removed as volunteers and sent to third-party debt collectors. I immediately called Candice, and she acted very confused and said she didn't know why they sent me anything, considering she's the primary leader and I'm the co-leader, and that she would go to the bank and update me later. Well, the day came and went, and I received no update from her. So the following day, I went to the bank to ask them to print out a statement for me. She's listed as the primary person on the account, so I don't get anything from the bank in the mail. It turns out someone, well, obviously her, had been withdrawing money in the bank over the last month. $50 one day, $200 the next, $400 the next day, and so on until the bank only had $3 remaining. Then the Girl Scouts attempted to withdraw the money, and it became overdrawn, and we now have a negative 33 balance from the charges from the bank. So then I called Candice to ask her what was going on, and she just brushed it off like it was no big deal, and told me she could account for $800 of it in supplies that she got for the troop. What supplies? And then just started changing the subject to something else. I then became really worried that Candice would try to throw me under the bus to the Girl Scouts, so when I went back to the bank and sat down with the branch manager to get some evidence that she had been withdrawing the money, it turns out Candice did come into the bank and contest the charges when she told me she would investigate it. But the bank manager explained to her that when you withdraw directly through the bank, not the ATM, you have to provide an ID. And he had a teller in the bank that specifically remembered her coming in. When the branch manager left Candice in his office to go retrieve some proof for her, she bolted and left the bank. I was shocked, but the branch manager happily provided me with signed withdrawal slips from Candice in case I needed to relay them to the Girl Scouts organization. I have since spoken with the Girl Scouts organization, and they have assured me that Candice will be the one sent to the debt collectors and not me. I'm relieved to hear that, but Candice has no idea that I know all of this. She actually just texted me to see if I would run the meeting tomorrow because she's busy with work. Yeah, right. At the same time, I'm worried that she won't tell any of the parents what's going on. What if she scams them out of more money? Should I text her and tell her that I know what she did, or should I just ghost her? I just wanted to volunteer. Now in the comments, Girl Scout Mum here, this happens all the time. You need to push on your local organization hard. They should have a policy, or you can start mentioning that you were thinking about calling the press. This usually can make the TV news. Usually what to do is to call the police and report it as embezzlement. If your co-leader isn't poor, they can get away with it if they pay it back ASAP. However, even if the leader can't pay it back, the kids in the troop are screwed. There is no national policy on this very, very common issue, except for that the Girl Scouts don't help out financially. This is why it is a huge issue. Those little girls got their work invalidated and their money stolen. Public outrage after a TV story will usually get them some donations in order to have something of a troop. I hadn't realized that this is a common issue. Who would do that to little kids? I hope OP goes to the police with this. It's not fair at all. Con artists usually don't consider the age, sex, finances, etc. of their victims. They just want money however they can get it. It's still disgusting though. I'm a CPA, and one of the things they teach in ethics courses is that most big dollar fraud and theft occurs by the older people that have been there forever and are well trusted. While young people do petty crime like stealing $5 out of the register, grandma steals the entire retirement fund or embezzles $1 million because no one is watching her. OP says, I just called the Girl Scouts and they didn't have much information for me on what to do. It's really frustrating. I'm just trying to do the right thing. You would think they would have better policies in place for this kind of thing. I've been a parent in scouting for decades. Listen, do not lie or withhold info from the parents. By pretending that you know nothing or minimizing what you do know, you are participating in a cover-up. You have done nothing wrong. Don't start now by lying. You are a victim too. It's time to get aggressive with your local council. Tell them that if they won't provide someone to speak to all of you regarding this theft at the next meeting, you will clearly outline everything you know about this for the parents, and then you will file a police report for theft. Do not allow this organization to let your name get dragged through this muck. Lying to parents about this is the worst way to get dirty. Believe me, the gossip among scouting parents will filter through the community and hurt you and your business. Don't let the council throw you under the bus like this. Back up to the post, we have an edit that says, I just went to the bank to see if she had replaced the money. She obviously did not, and the Girl Scouts attempted to withdraw the cookie money again a few days ago. There is another overdraft fee, and now the account is at -$69. Giggity. I then called our local Girl Scouts organization, and they informed me that they are still processing this issue, so they haven't definitively taken her off the volunteer roll just yet. But I should be getting an update from them later today or tomorrow. They told me that I should go to the meeting tomorrow and not to give the parents any details, and if I have to say anything, just be as vague as possible. I'm kind of worried about this because I have a small business in town that my name is attached to, and I don't want my name to get dragged through the mud. Also, I guess that means that I have to respond to Candace's text that I will do the meeting? I don't really want to talk to her, so I'm not sure what I should do. I will update soon when I hear more from the Girl Scouts. Edit 2, I received a phone call from our troop support specialist, and she has communicated with Candy to drop off the box of troop items for the meeting on my porch. Candy told them that she will be dropping it off in a half hour. I hope she doesn't knock on my door and try to talk with me. I will totally lose my damn mind on her. The troop specialist is going to call me back tonight to tell me the verbiage I should use with the parents, but I feel kind of slimy about the wording that she used. She said, right now, only you and Candy know the money was taken. That's all I'm saying. Like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm not supposed to say anything to the parents because they don't have access to the account? And now on to the update. So it's been just about a month and I have an update for all of you. Thank you so much to everyone who offered advice and their stories, it really helped. Most of you urged me to go to the police and file a report. Well, I did, but the officer that talked with me said I shouldn't file a police report yet and should contact Candy and try to procure the money from her to show that when I do file a police report, I can show them that I made every attempt to get it from her and that she is aware of the theft. So I messaged her. Candy, in the month of March, our Girl Scouts bank account was drained. I went to the bank and have account statements and withdrawal slips showing that you made unauthorized withdrawals from the account. If you do not restore the account, I will be filing a police report on June 1st to protect myself and the girls. Her response was, I will be restoring it, no worries. It was not all me, but I will be replacing it because I'm the one who lost the information. But thank you. I am putting in a certain amount each month towards both Girl Scouts and the bank. But thank you. I got what you were saying. My response was, I spoke with the branch manager at the bank. They have evidence that it was you. I have had a bank account there for over a decade. They require you to show proper ID when you withdraw money from the account. Also, there are cameras outside and inside the building. Candy's response, well, without going into my personal information, I do not remember it, but I am being treated for it. Acknowledged my mistake and will take care of it. It will all be paid to the GS Council before August 1st, and the remainder of the money is accounted for between my trip to the council shop and the stuff I will be purchasing for the water park. My first payment to them is June 1st, because that is my first check for the new job. That is all I'm saying on any of this. After that, I talked with the GS Council again and sent them the messages. I told them if they wouldn't resolve this, I would. They had a meeting about it the next day and decided to remove Candy as a volunteer, obviously, and that they would be going after her for the full amount of what they owe the Girl Scouts and what she stole from our troop. They also agreed to deposit the money right back into our account as soon as she was removed from the bank account. I was super happy about this resolution. There is a catch though. They didn't want me to tell the parents at our last meeting that this was going on. They had to officially send Candy a letter of removal before it was official. Also, my contact at the GS Council said they still wanted me to pass out flyers for Candy's water park event that she promised. I was pissed about that because this lady might have a drug problem or something. How in the hell can you trust that she will go buy anything for the water park or even show up? And, if she does, what if she uses it as an opportunity to scam them out of more money? They had Candy drop off the troop meeting information on my porch so I didn't have to talk to her. Well, I went to the meeting and no one ended up turning up because Candy had conveniently scheduled it the day before they had the day off of school, which I wasn't aware of since I don't have a child in the school. So no one thought there was a meeting. I was actually really happy about that because I didn't want to encourage them to go to this supposed water park event hosted by criminal Candy. After that, the Girl Scout Council agreed to send a representative to have a meeting with the parents and go over our options for next year and having a new troop leader. Candy sent me a message this morning. I guess one of the parents clued her in about our meeting, saying, "The only thing that needs to be discussed at tonight's meeting is the fact that I will not be returning as troop leader for Troop X. My family is moving and will no longer be in the school district or nearby to be able to continue with the truth. I wish you the best of luck." Yes, screw her for trying to cover her own ass. Even though I would love to tell everyone how terrible she is, I decided not to tell the parents about Candy. I thought about it a lot, and if I did, one of the parents will tell their daughter, and then everyone will be gossiping about Candy's daughter. It is not this poor girl's fault that her stepmom is a crook, and I don't want her to get bullied because of it. I also think it would turn a lot of the parents away from the troop, and I don't want to ruin everyone's Girl Scout experience because of me. Candy is gone, and can't be a part of the troop anymore, so good riddance. Girl Scouts are going after her for all the money, so she will have to face the legal consequences as well. Me telling the parents wouldn't help with anything. Also, on a positive note, at the meeting, one of the parents said they will step up and be troop leader. Yay! I have decided to stay on and help them as much as possible. I want to have a good experience volunteering, and I shouldn't give up because of one jerk. And edit, just wanted to add to those that are worried that Candy can do this to another troop, she has been blacklisted from the Girl Scouts organization nationally. She is not allowed to be in any leadership role. As far as her doing something shady somewhere else otherwise, there is not a whole lot I can do about that. I can't let everyone in my state know that she is a scumbag. So it is what it is. Now in the comments, you should probably tell the council that Candy is going to be skipping town. And OP replies, she emailed that to me and CC'd my contact at the council, so they know. She is really terrible at being a criminal. This is a great update. You've acted like a fantastic role model, and even though the kids and parents won't know about this incident, I'm sure that they'll get so much out of what you can teach them. I was in Girl Scouts as a kid, and it really made a difference when we had a leader who really cared about the troop. Thank you for sticking it out for another year. Congrats on the new leader situation, and best wishes towards another year of campfires and cookies. Eat a sleeve of trefoils for me. So, did I interpret that correctly? Is Candy suggesting she has some sort of condition that caused her to forget each time she went to the bank and stole money from children? Really? But it is good that you didn't tell the parents or that it isn't on the news. When I was in high school, the treasurer for the band boosters stole nearly $40,000 from the savings account. His daughter was definitely treated differently by the other students. Her dad was made fun of, people made assumptions about drugs or other things he may have been into to lead him to steal the money, things that she had, people would ask if the band boosters bought it for her, etc. Just getting harassed by other students for something that she didn't do and didn't know about. And I'm not sure if younger kids or teenagers would treat someone worse if their parent was caught stealing something from an organization that they volunteer for, to be honest. So even though it would be super tempting to show people Candy's true colors, I'm sure you spared her stepdaughter a lot of anguish. It's the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. Well, I don't remember doing that. Plausible deniability, evil twin. Whatever distracts people long enough to run away and start the next con. I'm amazed at the balls on this woman to admit her crime via text and not even be apologetic about it. She is her own defense attorney's worst nightmare. So the Girl Scouts are going after Candy now? Will the cops be involved? I don't know what's more frustrating, the Girl Scouts covering this up or Candy's total lack of remorse. And OP says, the Girl Scouts are going after Candy now legally. I don't know if they are bringing criminal charges against her or not. I know that they are for sure going after the money that she owes. So at a minimum, she will have to pony up what she's stolen. Also, because they are dealing with legal issues, I don't really think it's a cover-up, more of a legal thing. They can't go around talking crap about Candy if they plan to go after her legally. It could bite them in the ass. Also, they don't want to ruin the Girl Scouts for the other girls, which to me is totally understandable. Our next post is titled, Would I be the asshole for calling the police on my boyfriend after he let his brother and his family live in my holiday home without my permission? For context, I, 28 female, inherited a holiday home from my grandma some time ago. I never really use it as it's roughly a 5-hour drive out from London, where I live. It's relevant to the story that the keys to the holiday home are on a rack, with literally every other key to anything my boyfriend or I own. The holiday house has a security system hooked up to my phone. When it detects someone on the property, cameras turn on and I can see them. My boyfriend's brother, 33 male, recently had his 4th child. Him and his wife are currently living in a 2-bedroom apartment. So 3 days ago, they were both over at mine and my boyfriend's house with all their kids. We were talking about anything and everything. I was holding the baby. My boyfriend's brother eventually mentioned how I have my holiday home and how it has more than enough space for him and his wife to raise their 4 kids. My exact response was, yeah, but I'm not gonna let you live there, so... He went quiet after that, and his wife started to collect their kids and their things. They left about 10 minutes after. My boyfriend hasn't said anything to me about the conversation, yet I'm feeling bad about my response because I know they really do need the space. So fast forward to yesterday. I wake up for work and realize my boyfriend isn't in bed with me. Nothing out of the ordinary. He works from 8:30 a.m. When I finally am about to walk out to the door, I go to grab my keys and notice my holiday home's keys are gone. I look around for them and can't find them, so I call my boyfriend. First time he doesn't answer, second time he doesn't answer, third time he does. The conversation went, "Hey, have you seen my other house's keys?" And he says, "Yes, I have them." So I say, "Cool. Why have you got them though?" "Oh, I grabbed them by accident. I'll return them when I'm back from work." I thought everything would be fine, so I continued with my day and went on to work. Midway through my workday, I get a notification from the house's security system. I open it and find my boyfriend, his brother, and his family all outside the door with a moving van in the back. I was fuming. When I got home, my boyfriend was already there, acting as if everything was normal. I started screaming at him, asking him why the hell he'd move a family into my house without my permission. He tried to justify it and say that he had to help his family. It honestly just made me more angry. I told him that we were over, and he has 1 day to get his brother and his family out of my house, or I would call the police on them all for trespass. That all happened at around 6 yesterday, 14 hours ago. He hasn't called me or anything, but I fully intend to go through with my threat. But I know they are struggling right now. So would I be the asshole for calling the police? And now in the comments, not the asshole. Call the police now. Do not procrastinate out of confusion and misplaced kindness any longer. This is a bad situation, and the longer you delay addressing it, the more complex and difficult it will become. These are people who made conscious choices to deceive you and steal from you. You cannot trust them to behave reasonably or predictably. You need to get them out of your property. have the locks changed, and pursue whatever legal action is available to you to ensure that they are sufficiently cowed to be unlikely to risk doing something this foolish again. I'm not sure how squatting rights work in the UK, but the less time they have there, the better. I would have driven right down there and started throwing their crap out on the lawn. Not the asshole. Sorry, but for all the people saying that OP is making kids homeless, A, it wasn't their house to suddenly move into to begin with, and B, it's not the OP's responsibility to provide shelter. The parents are the ones responsible, and they are essentially squatting. It was not the boyfriend's gift to decide what happens to that house. It takes time to box things up and plan a move, so it is possible boyfriend and family must have been planning this for some time behind OP's back. Will they be paying for the rent and bills? Has any of that been considered, or were they planning to have OP foot the bill? I'd call the police OP. I'd bet that the overwhelming majority of people who claim OP is making kids homeless are not housing homeless and/or orphaned kids themselves. 100% this. Probably also not offering to take in orphans or foster kids, or purchasing properties with the sole intention of providing a home to a family in need. OP's only responsibility is to her property. If any of those children or their parents were to become hurt on her property, she could be held liable, even though she did not give them permission to be on her property. There are reasons that trespassing laws exist. I only know just enough about landlord liability laws to save my own ass from a point in time where I had to rent out empty bedrooms in my home to keep myself afloat. Ended up accidentally renting a room to a raging alcoholic who was a danger to himself and everyone else in the house. He came with glowing recommendations from the best roommate that I ever had. I had to evict him because if he even so much as fell down the stairs and broke a leg, I would be on the hook for his medical bills, and I could not even pay for my own medicine at that point in time. And yeah, I felt bad because it was Christmas, but my only responsibility was to myself and my property. OP needs to take care of herself, her property, and her finances. And these leeches who thought that they could get around her boundaries can sod all the way off. And now on to the update, edit. Thanks for all the advice. By searching through the UK's government website, I've managed to figure out what I can legally do. I've also called the police on them already. I haven't received any updates on that yet, but I'll share them when I can. Edit 2, I called the police a small while ago. About 30 minutes ago, they came and returned my keys and let me know that the family had been told to leave by them. At first they refused, but eventually they packed their things up and went. My ex-boyfriend, his brother, and his brother's wife have been blowing up my phone, asking why the hell I'd put them and their children through this. I have blocked them all. I feel absolutely terrible about what I did, and I know there was probably better ways to handle the situation. I even considered letting them stay after all, but I'm not sure if they would pay rent or anything. For the future, I plan to rent the home out, as many of you suggested, but I'm not sure how ex-boyfriend's family would take that. And now in the comments, who cares? It's none of their business. Exactly. Anyway, the brother and his family had no intention of paying rent, so it doesn't matter. Family living there free isn't a comparison to a paying tenant. OP is in the right. If he went behind her back on this, he probably has a list of other things that he has done that she doesn't know about yet. What strikes me is that the first time the subject of them living there was ever broached was 2 days before they moved in, and it was brought up, seemingly, as a way of hoping to get permission before doing a move that they were already packing for. This tells us that the boyfriend either knew she would say no, or knew they wouldn't be paying rent. Both of those are just terrible obligations to try to put on another person. The boyfriend also knew that this would end up being discovered eventually, and simply did not care about the consequences. That is straight up malicious. It can be so hard to remove squatters from the UK that when a friend of a friend moved into their new rental and there was a squatter living there, the landlord told them they'd just have to live with the squatter. This could have been a whole lot more painful for OP. Yeah, I think they figured they'd move in and she wouldn't know, and so by the time she figured it out, they would have established squatters' rights and she wouldn't be able to get them out legally. They didn't count on her having that camera and alarms. I bet you, had the boyfriend known, he would have disabled them. Holy crap, that is absolutely insane. I can't imagine the landlord not having the right to kick someone out with proper notice. In the US, if they are squatting, you can have them evicted within 60 days, depending on which state you're in. I also immediately started to come up with all sorts of devious and nasty things I would do if I were the people moving in with that squatter. I have a penchant for really stinky cheese, and I also don't mind some pretty abrasive music. I have a feeling that I could make that person's life a living hell, while also not giving them any rights to call the police about it. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.